Love and honor.
Love and honor.
You got this place rocking again, Coach. Good to see you.
Appreciate it. Great to see you, too.
Awesome, man. What a season it's been so far.
It's been a lot of fun.
I know when you took over, you had a plan and you had a mission to get it back on track, and boy, you've done it.
Yeah, fortunate to be here, man. We got a great group of young men that are super, super easy to coach.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I love the way they play. I love the way the guys move the ball. The skill level is through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to discuss, you have to be able to shoot, pass. You have to be able to make plays. Anyone that plays on your team has to be a high skill level basketball player. That's pretty impressive the way you've built this squad.
Well, I think you would fit our system really, really well.
That's for sure. You know what? I got to be honest. Like back when we were, in the shadow kind of the Big Ten, and they played so slow. We played so much defense. And I remember back then, I used to kind of like look at the teams out west in the Pac-12, and they'd be scoring like 80, 90.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd look at Coach Coles, I'd be like, Coach, why are we in the 60s? Come on.
Let's get this thing up and down a little bit.
Up and down like you're playing.
More possessions.
Yeah, what is about the style? How do you get that, teams to play fast with you? Because I'm sure teams want to try to slow you down a little bit.
Yeah, I think number one, just you got to force it a little bit defensively, right? You want to make them take quick shots, ball pressure, and then that helps. And then also on offense, again, we push off misses, makes, turnovers. When we give our guys the neon green light, which I know that like your eyes light up when you hear that.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I think back to when I played, if, I was a 40% three-point shooter, when I missed a three, your coach would be saying like, get the ball inside, get the ball to Kevin Garnett, like stop taking so many threes. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, do you guys have a number of threes that you try to get to? Because I know a word I've heard a lot of coaches tell their shooters is hunt threes. We need you to shoot more.
Yeah, and honestly, you'll be taken out for us if you pass up
I like it.
an open shot, right? Because usually that leads to a turnover or maybe a bad shot or a weird possession. We want to catch to shoot every single time. We'd love to shoot about 50% of our shots from three, roughly, right? And because we shoot it so well, But again, a lot of it, still want to get our paint touches.
Yep.
So the best threes, as you know, are once you touch the paint, whether it's a drive or a post up or maybe a cut or a roll where you can collapse that defense and then spray and play. Those are the best threes you can get.
No question. And I know your philosophy is you want to play pretty much 5 out. And that allows you to open up the floor, driving lanes, passing lanes. How hard has it been to kind of recruit to that system, and how long did it take for you to kind of get the right mix of guys?
It takes a couple of years, for sure. But again, we develop them that way as well. So when you get a bigger guy, like we have Antoine Woolfolk, who's 6'9", 240 pounds,
Sure.
He can play interior, but he's gotten really comfortable behind the three. And he can make decisions with the ball. He can pass. I think big guys that can pass, allow us to play the way that we play because it keeps that rim open for cuts and drives and different guys posting up, which makes us harder to guard.
Yeah, and what I'm so impressed with what you've done with this team is the development of players when they come back after a year, when they get in your system. I was joking around, that sub gym is where all the magic happens.
Yep.
Like that's where the work gets done. I remember the individual instruction. I would come up just sweating to the point where you almost throw up. You're working so hard in those individuals. How have you been able to continue to get these guys better and maximize their potential as far as basketball players?
I think number one, we got a great staff. All right, our assistant coaches do a ton of work with our guys individually within their position groups. So Ben Botts has the big men. We have Christian Smith works with the wings, and Jonathan Holmes works with the guards. And each guy has a very detailed, individualized plan. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah.
We look at where guys' strengths are. We want to get their strengths, make them elite at something. I think that's important. But also then focus a little bit on their weaknesses, right? And say, okay, well, what's one thing that we can really focus on over the next month and get better at? And not just being all over the place.
The Mid-American Conference, I remember when we played in it, it's tough, some tough road venues. And you guys have been mentally tough in some tough situations. I know you've talked about it a lot, about how close your team is off the floor. How has that really helped you in this, still the last undefeated team in the country, this run and continuing forward?
I think, we're getting everybody's best shot. When we played at Kent State, it was sold out. When we played at Toledo, it's sold out. At Marshall, sold out. It's a free T-shirt or free beer or whatever it might be.
I heard about that Kent State night.
So we take that show on the road. So and our guys embrace that. They love that. I'd argue that we play better on the road than we even do at home.
The numbers kind of say that.
Yeah, because our guys, they live for that moment.
Yeah.
They like, silencing the crowd, so to speak. And but just our guys' connectivity, I think, there's no pressure when you do it for others. When you're not consumed with yourself, right? I'm doing it for me, but I'm gonna do it for my teammates. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
And I think our guys embrace that, and that true connectivity and love for each other really comes to life.
Yeah. And I got a feel for that earlier when I was here on campus for Uptown Madness. We kind of hung out that night. We hung out at, I forget whose player has a beautiful apartment, and we all went up there. We were playing euchre, we were listening to music, and I saw that bond.
Yep.
I mean, your guys are like this.
Yep.
And when you're in tough moments, like, it's just so cool to see, how much they come together. Having said that, how about having this place packed? What's that like? I mean, look at these seats we got right here. We got the best seats in the house.
We do.
It's going to be packed for the rest of the year to the rafters. I mean, this place, when it's rocking, there's nothing like it.
It's crazy. My good friend of mine sent me a text and said, "Can you believe this?" Sent me a screenshot of how much tickets we're going for a couple of these games. They're going for like $300 or $400.
I saw it.
And I said, "Man, he said, year one, it wasn't that way for you." When I first came here, there was probably just a handful of people here in the stands. My first game against Evansville, and to see what the student body and the Miami community get behind us, man, it's just been awesome. I'm so happy and thrilled for our guys because they deserve it, but it also gives the students here on campus memories and experiences that they'll have for them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that's one of mine is my daughter. She's a sophomore, Amberly. She's been the last couple of years, she's been telling her friends, let's go to the basketball game, let's go to the basketball. She goes to all of them. She's got one friend from Denison, the dorm, so they're here every time, but they're all like, it's a little too far, like, I want to go do this, we can go watch it uptown, but now, you better be here.
Yeah,
like,
it's
all
the place
the students,
to be. It's the place to be.
They absolutely better be here. It's so fun to see. So, obviously, as a mid-major, there's a lot of pressure to continue to keep winning. I know you embrace that. The last team that made, the NCAA tournament as an at-large was in '99. How do you handle that scenario? Like, what is your mindset? What do you tell the guys when obviously still the last undefeated team, but you still have a lot more to aspire to accomplish?
Yeah, people are going to remember how you finish, not how you start, right? I think that's number one. Enjoy the ride, though, at the same time, right? But we always look at, I love using like metaphors and pictures, like have deeper meaning. Showed our guys a picture of a guy driving with a phone in his hand. And I asked Antoine Woolfolk, I said, "Hey, what do you see up there?" He said, "Well, I see texting and driving." I said, "Well, that's probably not going to lead to some good results, right? You're distracted." And I said, the more success we have as a team, people are going to pull us different directions, right? But we got to keep our head and our eyes out that front windshield, because there's going to be obstacles. Every team that we are going to encounter, we're going to be their Super Bowl. We don't want to hit a pothole. The games behind us are in the rearview mirror. That's why the rearview mirrors are so small. Nobody cares anymore. That's done. It's in the past. Let's keep our eyes moving forward. And our guys have done that. And I give them a lot of credit, man. They embrace the process. Let's have a great practice. Let's have a great lift. Let's have a great film session. They're very, very focused.
Yeah, and having watched practice, I was very impressed with the way you run practice. As a player, going back to my days in practice, a lot of those, cue sayings and phrases that you have, it's very impressive. That kind of clicks your players, I noticed, into being focused. I know you have kind of 4 major philosophy kind of rules that you kind of hold to all the guys to the standards. Can you kind of elaborate on what those are?
Yeah, so our 4 core values are, number 1 would be compete at every moment. And hopefully when you watch us practice, we make that come to life right away.
Yeah.
Right, we compete in everything we do, whether it's shooting drills, free throws, 5-on-5. We love to play 5-on-5. Our guys live for competition. And the second one is we carry your brother, right? Being a great teammate, both on and off the court, being invested in each other. And the great teammates can make others around them better. right?
True.
And, you know, just
Totally.
whether
Best
that's
players, too.
yeah, those
Yeah.
guys can make if they make everybody around them better, man. Like that's super powerful. And the third one's embody undeniable confidence. I want guys that have swagger, that have belief, but you earn that through your work.
Right.
And those guys know that. It's not like you just show up and just say, hey, I'm confident.
Right.
You got to shoot that shot. Maybe like Ian Elmer hit that shot to send it in overtime. He's made that thousands and thousands of times. And guess what? People see the one shot though.
Yep.
But he's repped it, as you know, as a player.
Yep.
That repetition is everything. And can you keep your confidence during adversity? Right? When bad times happen. It's easy when you're making shots, but can you keep that confidence? Then the fourth one is strive for more. You know, like never becoming complacent. Right? And I think that's where, again, as you win, and we've been in this a lot this year, we won a lot of games. It's like, well, how do we keep pushing forward? Right? We want more. We have bigger goals than just winning, just going on a winning streak.
That's definitely come to fruition with this team. You have a quote that you live by, and I want to get this right. Don't worry about the results. Be obsessed with the trajectory, and the result will take care of itself. What do you make your team obsess over that have led you to these perfect results?
Just our process. Day-to-day practice is everything for us, man. That's like gold to us. Between 1:30 to 3:30, I don't care what's happened in your day. Maybe you didn't do as well on a test. Maybe your girlfriend broke up with you. When we step foot on that 94 by 50, man, it's the best time. And that's sacred. And our guys know that. And that'll keep us on our upward trajectory. And then what are you doing outside of those hours too?
Sure.
As a player, individually, you got to be held to that standard as well.
No question.
Are you getting extra shots up? Are you getting extra film in with your position coach? Just embracing in that process will keep us on that upward trajectory.
I love it. So what's your favorite moment throughout this run that the team has been on? Like what's it could be last year, it could be what has led to this. Give me your defining moment.
You know, in a weird way, it was the MAC championship game last year, losing the way that we did. You know, I stayed out there and I watched them cut down the nets. And I had a couple of our guys watch too, because I wanted them to see it.
Wow.
You know, because I do think it's powerful.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that, again, those hard moments, it was a very, very difficult moment, the way that we lost, but those hard moments define you, right? What's our response going to be, right? And I knew our guys would respond the right way going into the spring and into the summer, into the fall, and obviously the season. But that moment, man, I thought is kind of been a defining moment for us here at Miami.
And next up, I'm so intrigued by the way you guys have brought fans, outside people into your locker room with your social media presence and stuff. You have the couple awards. Can you elaborate? One's the rebounding award. You get to sign something or something. And the EGB, what is it?
Yeah, so the first one's the bubble.
Okay.
Right? We put a bubble on that rim and practice on certain days, and we'll just say, hey, listen, it's about rebounding.
Yep.
Right? So just complete war. I got it from Kelvin Sampson. I worked for
love
Kelvin at Indiana. Learned a lot.
Yep.
And he's one of the best rebounding coaches in the country, if not the best one.
Oh, yeah.
And there'd be days where he'd have it up for 2 hours straight. And you'd never see a shot go in. I'd be like, can we take that thing off and just see a shot go in every once in a while? But, so if you get 10 rebounds, you get to sign the bubble.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So, and then the EGB chain, which is energy generating behavior. So we track that. So you can get it's a lot of different ways. A hard cut, sprinting the floor, crashing the glass, diving on the floor for a loose ball, deflections, taking a charge, setting a great screen, maybe things that don't show up in the stat sheet.
Sure.
That really, really impact winning. Like we value those things. So we give that out after the game as well.
That's great. I know the Knicks do a defensive player of the game.
Yeah.
They rally around it.
Yeah.
That way to just have some fun and motivate the players, it just makes it so fun and so interesting. Obviously, your arch rival in the MAC is their half-brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Coach Gross. He's done an outstanding job up there, built a juggernaut and a program. Do you talk to him regularly? Do you bounce any ideas off him basketball-wise? What's it like competing against him?
Yeah, it's weird because for several years, obviously, we weren't in the same league.
That's right.
I was in the Big East and he was in the Big Ten, or he was in the MAC and I was in the Atlantic 10 or whatever it was. And so we talked every day during that time frame. We still talk a lot. I would say at least 2 to 3 times a week, just supporting each other. Listen, I love him. I want to see him do really, really well, other than when he's playing Miami, right? And he's the same way. Listen, when we play against each other, it's probably hardest on our mom.
That's right.
Very difficult on her, as you can imagine.
Yes.
But listen, he's done a great job. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for him. He's helped open up a lot of doors for me and been an incredible mentor.
Yeah, having said that, you've really, you did a pretty good job at Xavier. You learned, I know you looked yourself in the mirror, you kind of learned from that experience. What did you take from that experience coaching at Xavier, which is obviously a big, prominent basketball juggernaut in this area, in the Cincinnati area? And what have you learned from that and brought to this job to have this much success?
I think, number one, like, how do you build culture? Right? How do you make that thing come to life every single day rather than just having words on a wall? Because I think that's what happens a lot of times. How are you living that out? I think I was much more intentional on who we brought in here from a staff, player. How do we live it out every single day, out those 4 core values?
Sure.
Teaching, I think you get better at it just as you do it more, right? You start to learn, it's like, how can I make things simpler for our guys, yet be complex for our opponents? The greatest teachers can make things simple.
Yeah.
Right? It just makes sense.
Yeah,
it's like, man, I didn't think
absorbs
about it that
immediately.
way.
Yeah.
Understanding the why, right? Understand guys learn in different ways.
Sure.
Right? And I think, and you're teaching all the time, whether it's in practice, whether it's in games, being very even-keeled. You almost got to do opposite of what the situation calls for. So the tighter the moment, maybe the more pandemonium that's going on, the more as a coach you just got to be is super even-keeled, right? And staying neutral. And that helps you make great decisions. So there's a lot of things, that I took from that experience and didn't finish in the way that I wanted it to. Super appreciative of the opportunity that I had there and all the relationships that I gained from there that I'll have for the rest of my life. But it's definitely helped me with this opportunity here at Miami. I wouldn't be the coach I am today, obviously, without that experience.
Well, we're very appreciative to have you here at Miami. It's awesome to have you in this family and, resurrecting this program. It's been a really long time, since 2007, since Miami has made it to the NCAA tournament. So, I know you are a coach and you take one game at a time, but what would it mean if Miami could get back to that dance?
I think that's the goal,
Yeah.
right? My goal is to stay on the upper trajectory, right, and just continue to get better. But we've recruited guys that I didn't think could help us just get to the NCAA tournament, but they can advance. So I don't want to just get there and everybody be happy and satisfied. Man, I want more. I want to get to that second weekend in the NCAA tournament, whereas, when you're in those situations, anything, literally anything can happen. You're 40 minutes.
I know.
40 minutes, that's all it takes. And that's what's exciting, man. I think we're starting to play meaningful games, which is great. And later into the season here, year 3 and now year 4 for me. So we're heading in the right direction, but we got to make sure we finish this race. Yeah,
and having said that, obviously the metrics and all the craziness with, how the committee makes their decisions, Miami's wasn't able to schedule some quad 1, quad 2 opportunities. So how important is it for you to kind of take the committee out of the equation, make sure you win the MAC tournament, and then get to your point where you can accomplish all your goals?
Yeah, we got to focus on the things we can control. I can't control the committee. I wish I could, but I can't. So it's like, can we control our day-to-day, continue to get better? We control our own destiny. If we win the MAC tournament, it's an automatic bid. It's an automatic bid. There's no question about it, right? They can't take that from us. So again, just focus on the things that we can control. And that's what I've really encouraged our guys to do kind of down the stretch here.
Yeah, and I noticed you said something about confidence is important. Always be confident, but don't be too confident.
Yeah.
Now, can you explain that? Because when I read that and I saw that, I was like, I always tried to be as confident as I could out on the court. But now when I dove a little bit deeper into it, explain why you don't want your guys to be overconfident or maybe too confident.
Yeah, I think sometimes when people get too confident, they get a little lazy, right? Their process starts to slip just a little bit. And then you get knocked back on your feet, and then it's like, well, I'm gonna get back on it again. We want to be ultra confident because our process is right. How we watch film, how we prepare for games, how you get extra shots, treatment, right? It's a long season.
Oh, yeah.
You icing down after every practice, every workout, that matters.
Yes.
Right? So everything matters, and getting our guys to understand that, because we want them to play with a free mind. And our guys always think they're going to win, regardless of the situation. And that's a great feeling to have when you walk on that floor.
Yeah, that's great. And what's it like walking around campus when you go out to eat? You know, when the guys go out to eat, like, what's it like when you walk in the restaurants? I know we have a mutual friend, Will Wiseman, who's, you know, he runs uptown pretty much.
Yes,
He's the
he
guy,
does.
he's been there
Yeah, he
forever,
does.
like
Yep.
just one of the most genuine,
man.
awesome human beings. Like, what's it been like with, you know, just being on this beautiful campus in this beautiful town with all the, you know, national attention and all the accolades that have been coming your way?
It's been incredible. There's just a buzz.
Yeah.
There's a buzz around here. And we're just super grateful to be here. You said this is the most beautiful campus I've ever been on. For people that have never been here, come check it out. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? And again, then when you walk around, our guys are going to class, obviously. They're going to eat. I do the same. I mean, it's just, man, everybody's, hey, coach, great job. Keep it going. You know, we'll be at the game on Friday night or Saturday or whatever the game is. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And you know, even before practice today, there were a few guys that were rolling in with some media obligations. How have you kept them focused on the job at hand? Because a lot of people, and I remember we were in the same boat when we were in the NCAA tournament, we golfed to the Sweet 16, we had media requests right and left, but Charlie was able to just keep us blinders on, keep us focused. How have you been able to do that with these guys?
Yeah, same thing. I think it starts with the player leadership. We got great leadership in our locker room with Suter, Ipsaro, and Elmer, who are voted as captains by their teammates. Like, they do a great job of streamlining things, and I do as well. I'm included in there. But again, we're not going to be any different than we are before all the media attention.
Yeah.
We treat everything the exact same. There's nothing different. I'm not going to be different. Our guys aren't going to be any different. We just focus and we embrace that process.
That's great. And mentioning Evan Ipsaro, you know, I just saw him. Looks like he's rehabbing. Looks like he's coming around. Heartbreaking injury, obviously, for him. And, you know, you've been able to kind of figure things out afterwards. You know, what are your thoughts? And just having him around, like, what's it like?
Yeah, it was gut-wrenching when he went down. I thought he was playing as good as any point guard in the country.
Yeah.
And he was playing at a very, very, very high level. And it hurt. It really, really hurt because he's a great kid. He does everything right. Great teammate, works incredibly hard. Was having a breakout year. And, you know, and then all of a sudden he goes down. It's next man up, though. You can't flinch.
No.
Right?
No question.
And Luke Skowjak's all of a sudden now is our point guard. Peter Suter's handling the ball a lot, play makes, regardless of what position he is. So it's next man up mentality. But he still has an important role on our team. Evan knows he helps coach our guards.
Nice.
He watches film with those guys, with Luke and with Trey Perry, two of our younger guards. I have him sit in on those meetings with Jonathan Holmes, who works with the guards. He still talks in huddles. You know, it's incredible just hearing his voice, man. So he plays still a very, very prominent role on our team.
Yeah, that says a lot. I was talking to him, and it says a lot for him to still be so closely involved. You know, and another thing, you mentioned it early, your practices, like, you don't take a sip of water without competing. Who's drinking the right water, the most water?
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
And at the end, can you just tell us, like, what was going on with the free throws? Because I remember when I practiced, I was more of a, like, not just out there shooting 1,000 shots.
Yeah.
I wanted to shoot 100 shots and make sure I made 80.
80.
Like,
Yep.
it was more about quality than always quantity. So can you kind of elaborate on how you've gotten these guys to be focused and dialed in at all times with that motive?
Yeah, we move quickly through practice from one thing to the next. It's all about pace. That's the way we want to play in the games. But we make even free throw shooting competitive. So we do our free throw ladder. I got it from Thad Matta several years ago.
Okay.
All right, so you work your way up. So if you get if there's a technical foul on the other team during the game, the guy that's on top of the free throw ladder shoots the free throws.
Right.
Automatic.
Got
That's what happens. So, but you can move up and down. We do it every day. So if you lose, you're going down to hoop number 2. And if you lose again, you're down to hoop number 3, but you can work your way up to hoop number 1, so it gives everybody an opportunity. We shoot 25 of those after practice every day. But we shoot free throws during practice as well.
But you chart everything, the free throws in practice and
everything.
after.
Everything. You get what you emphasize.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And what happens when you go down in the sub gym in that game?
Well, they're down there for a reason. They got to get back upstairs. That motivates them. Hey, I want to be upstairs.
Okay, so
Don't have
that's
to go down
the
those
lower ladder.
Yes.
And then you got to dig yourself out of the basement.
That's
and
exactly right.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
You want to be upstairs.
I love it. I got one more thing for you. It's a surprise.
Uh-oh.
These are tough to come by. This is the Wally duck.
Whoa. I love it.
It squeaks. It's a rubber ducky. You can throw it in your office.
I love it. Look at
That's
that.
for you.
I appreciate it.
And hopefully we get some Miami folks playing in the Timberwolves and playing in the NBA very time soon.
Absolutely.
And with your leadership, I think it's going to happen.
I appreciate it. We're going to make it happen.
I love it. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks
Thanks for having us. So great to be back on campus. I'll tell you, when I get out here, it's like my pulse rate just drops and I'm home.
Yeah.
It's just like heaven. It's a great place. It was a great place for me for 4 years. And, it's always been a special place in my heart. And now seeing what you've brought, if you build it, they will come.
Yep.
It's been pretty special. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.